stress about the angel or the spirituality of an institution is that it is always held in tandem with the concreteness or the external, the visible aspects of an institution. That is, every corporation, institution, system, structure, organization, church, government, bureaucracy, anything has both an outer dimension. It's got fax machines, personnel, buildings, trucks, a market, and so forth, stakeholders. But it also has an inner spirituality. And we're wanting to say both have to be transformed. We have to try to change not just the president, but the imperial messianic presidency, which seems to change anyone who gets into that office into its own likeness, so that whoever becomes president is going to have to behave in certain ways. He's going to have to rattle the sword. He's going to have to be big tough guy, you know, macho with these little countries and knock them around, and you know. The powers, as it were, make you conform to their own needs. And they are suprahuman in that sense. They're almost too big to be resisted. It takes a person of a remarkable spiritual character to be able to be in these corporations and institutions and not lose their soul to the power of that institution's inner spiritual life.
Where then do we begin? I mean, what is it, as we talk to folks in congregations in particular, where is it we begin?
Well, we all look at each other.
Well,
it's the hardest thing in the world. I think it's really important that you bring this in, because there's nothing that's more futile than trying to take on these huge institutions by ourselves. But there's nothing more hopeless than trying to change ourselves either. There has to be a transcendent power that can come into these situations, into these corporations, into these systems, and transform them. So in a very real sense, we have to be like the bulldog that clamps its teeth on the leg of an elephant and just harries it until it falls into the elephant pit. And all the great evil institutions finally will fall into the elephant pit that God's dug for them. But the church's task is to be this little bulldog that just holds on and worries. We can't change these institutions. We don't have that much power. We're nobodies in a way when you're up against something that big. But God is able to change things. And so our task is to be intercessors. You know, we really have to bring these institutions and structures to God and pray for God to help recall them to their divine vocations in the world.
Name a couple of institutions that seem to have lost their vocations. What are their vocations? And what would you do differently if you expected them to live out their vocations?